I built my portfolio while holding down a 9 to 5. And this is one of the most common questions that we get around. You guys talk about, must use our salaries to build our property portfolio, but practically, how is that possible? You may, for example, be having a highly demanding job, and there's little to no time that you can spare to run your property business. So in this video, we are going to be talking about how we've done it. In case you're watching this for the first time, Miranda is a doctor, you know how demanding that is, and I'm in the financial services industry, equally demanding. But we've managed to be able to start and grow our property portfolios while we're holding our jobs using our salaries as a tool.
It is no, I mustn't say it's the only way. If you were born a trust fund baby, great. But if you were born into a family like mine, where the only thing they could give you was education, and then it leads to a high skilled job with a high salary, or any salary, by the way, can begin a property portfolio. So let's look at how I use my time, because I have a portfolio, but I still do my 9 to 5 job. So let's just look at how we do it.
I think before we get to the how, in pursuing anything, right, especially something like this, you need to have a very strong why.
Oh, yeah.
A very strong motive,
True.
a very strong reason, because this is a path that is not often taken by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get comfortable and content with the lifestyle that you've got, with the income that you're earning. But if you've decided for yourself that there has to be more, I deserve more, I'm worthy of more, and I want to create something more substantial, then you've got a strong why, and you will make the necessary sacrifices, which there will be, in order to realize that goal, right? Because it's something that you have decided you want for yourself. So really start with doing introspection and thinking deeply about why this is important for you. Because if you don't have a strong enough motive, you are going to find the easiest excuses to not put in the work, to not do what is necessary.
Absolutely.
So start there before we get into the practical tips, which we'll be sharing with you shortly, but have a very good motive for why this is important for you.
Some people will naturally go into working harder. See, I work in a profession where we wear our epaulets of how hard we work. That's just what doctors do, you know. Our glory is in I was still standing after 38 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So working longer, working harder, doing overtime, and then going to do a locum, and then you study further. Is all we are taught. And then you wonder where the wealth is after all that hard work.
Yeah.
You still get to buy the luxury goods, but they are bought on debt, because everyone lets you have or have access to debt. You wonder if there's a easier way, a lighter way, a more comfortable way than doing the longer hours and the harder hours. So we want to get practical with you about this 9 to 5 job, or the 9 to 9 job.
Exactly. So it sounds more like the 9 to 5 is a myth.
Yeah, 9 to 9 plus job.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about the various things that you have to look at. And there's a strategy to it. It's not something that just happens, right? There's a strategy to it, and you begin with a business strategy. But it doesn't begin with a business strategy, actually. It begins with knowledge.
Yeah.
So let's give you some tips on what to do.
I think the biggest thing, right, is you need to be honest with yourself about
Time.
what are the things that are important for you. Because let me tell you, you can say, this is important to me, I want this, but what is going to tell is A, where are you spending your money, and where are you spending your time? Those are the two, because you
like
can
that.
say one thing, but action is the other. And if they don't, if they don't match, then what you're saying is not true.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, Mina, I love my family, wada, 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 but you're not paying pap geld and you're not spending time with your children.
Yeah.
Then it's not true. It doesn't correlate. You need to put your money where your mouth is. You need to put your time where your mouth
Yeah.
is. So having said that, it means that if you are saying that property and wealth creation is important for you, these are the two things that you need to put towards
Towards
that.
that.
It's time, it's money, right? So let's talk about time. We live in a society that is full of distractions and things that, just to pass the time, right? So yes, we may have a 9 to 5, but if you're honest, there's a certain period whereby either it's during lunch or you are going and having chat with your colleagues by the water cooler. There's always gaps in between your day that you have a moment. So what are you doing? You are on TikTok, you are on whatever other social media, you're on Betway or whatever the case might be, you are watching the latest Mgosi, you are chatting with your friends. So the time is there, but what are you using on? What are you doing when you come home? What are you doing when you're driving on your way to work? There's always time gaps that you can find for the things that are important to you.
I
You know?
do. And the 9 to 5 job gives you this permission to say, it's 5 p.m. Therefore, the rest of the time I can spend scrolling, or I know all the soapies on TV. So that's the one thing. So there are things that you need to give up or to have a look at differently, to say, if I spend all of my waking hours from 6 p.m. when I get home up to 10 p.m., if I use all of that time for soapies, can you see that you have time?
You do.
You actually do have time. 1 hour of a webinar, or 1 hour of listening to a podcast, 1 hour of reading up about something on property investing, or 1 hour of scrolling through and having the discipline to find the property and the property that you want to, or running some numbers and doing due diligence on the property. So we do have time. So the 9 to 5, let it not consume you so much that you give yourself permission to waste the other free time, or what you call free time. So that for me is a very, very important thing. And I find that my TV doesn't go on during the week, because my after work time is my time to work on my business, right? I've got the business of work during the day, and I've got the business. So that's how you utilize time.
So you use your 9 to 5 to earn your income,
Yeah.
but your 5 to 9 is where you use to create wealth.
Uh-huh.
So that's where you use, that's the time that you use for wealth creation. That's the time that you use for self-development. That's the time that you use to actually start working on your business, right?
Yeah.
We're not saying steal the time from your employer.
No.
Make sure that you respect your job, because that is the seed that you need to grow your wealth, but use the time that you've got free. And so speaking of time as well, you may find that you've got a very demanding job and you say, I don't think I'll have any time available in my job. Fair enough.
Value
But just be mindful of the fact that you are selling your time to your employer. And read your contract. How much time did you say that you are selling to the employer? You are selling 8 hours. Okay, maybe 9 hours. Yes. But over and above that, you are now literally donating your time away to your employer for no cost, right? You're actually giving away. And if you actually realize how much your time is worth, you would not be giving it away so easily. So I'm not saying, or we're not saying give up on your job. There may be instances where, it's crunch time, it's month end, or whatever the case might be, whereby you need to go the extra mile and deliver. However, let it not be chronic. Every day you're knocking off at 11. Every day you are going in at 6 and you're pulling those hours.
Yeah.
If that is the case, it means that you are undercapacitated at work and you need to speak up and get help. because that is not normal. It's not leaving any time for you to work on the other things that are important for you. That's the important thing, right? Just be mindful of where are you spending your time. Even track it on a monthly basis. How much unpaid overtime are you doing?
If you're watching this, you're probably in the same position I was in a few years ago. Working a 9 to 5, wanting to build wealth, but feeling completely overwhelmed and not knowing where to start with property investing. Maybe you've been told that you need hundreds or thousands of rands to get started in property investing, or that property investing was only for the wealthy. I'm here to tell you that's simply not true. That's why my co-host Lee and I are hosting an online workshop on the 6th of September 2025. Tickets are 499 rands. Spots are limited. During the workshop we are hosting, you're gonna learn how to turn your spare time into wealth building opportunities. Build generational wealth without risking your career. In fact, using the current salary that you have to build the wealth. We simplify the solutions of how to property invest and put it in a language that you can hear. We start at 10 a.m. Don't spend another year wishing you had started. The link is in the description below. Secure your spot and take your first step to financial freedom. See you on the 6th. Absolutely. Let's talk about moms.
Oh, yes, moms.
Oh, moms. Moms have got this guilt thing of, I value my kids, I value my job. Work hard. You come home, peeling the potatoes, chopping up the onion, and chopping up the cabbage, and then cleaning the floors and putting the kids to bed. Again, value your time. Let's have a look at how we utilize that time. You come home, now you earn the salary. It's great, right? But you also feel like the cleaning of the floors must also be your job. And putting them to bed must also be your job. And then cooking, and then being a wife at the same time. Value your time. The same time that you are using chopping up the potatoes could have been done by someone else that you pay 200, 250 or 300 rands. We don't see those things because you don't see yourself paying. You are paying with your energy. You are paying with the time that you could be playing to build the 5 to 9 property investment portfolio. So have a look at the things that you do. You spend your whole Saturday morning cleaning the house. You've wasted 5 to 6 hours of valuable time. Could have viewed a property. You are the one who does the washing. You clean the house. Some even take pride in washing their own cars. I don't wash cars because I don't like it. I don't wash dishes because I don't like it. I don't clean my house even though I love a clean house because it's valuable time that I put to my business. So that's the one thing about 9 to 5 jobs. It gives you these, I don't want to be doing anything else on the computer. Work on your business. Your business needs you.
Hey, I'm biting my tongue because I don't want to be controversial.
Go on.
But
You
I
hurt me
really
all the
feel
time.
like, especially as black women, can we please stop to be starrings, guys, please? And if there are any husbands that are listening to this, please give your wives a break. And I mean that in the most sincerest way, because you find, like you're saying, please stop peeling the potatoes, because you find a man who we both wake up and go to work, but when we get home, now he can sit and chill and watch TV, and he doesn't eat food that's not cooked by my wife.
Oh, he doesn't eat food from yesterday.
He doesn't eat takeaways. Guys, really? That's why I said, I'm not being controversial. I'm just putting it out there, guys, to say, Even if it means that we now come and prepare dinner together. Instead of it taking 3 hours, it's taking us an hour and a half, because now we're working together. We're realizing this thing is going to help our family. Let's therefore work on it together. I think the time of saying that a person is going to come and put their feet up while the other one is slaving away in the kitchen, those days are over. And I think as couples, let's have those honest conversations with our partners to say, love, sweetie, darling, this is the path that I want us to, and bring your family along, guys, in your wealth journey, because you're gonna need their support, you're gonna need their buy-in. So if you're saying that this is the path that we are going, and by the time I get back from work, having knocked off, been stuck in traffic, and now I'm supposed to start peeling an onion at 7 o'clock, we're having dinner at 9 o'clock, when am I gonna have the time to work on the things that I want for our family? So how about we meet each other halfway, even if it means that we get somebody just to do the chopping and I come and I finish, but get the help that you need, that you as a family feel comfortable with. Let us stop glorifying struggling, guys. Let us stop glorifying work, manual work that doesn't really reward us in any meaning, and in such a way that it takes away the opportunity to earn more or to build on something more substantial, because we are so exhausted from putting in a 9 to 5. Now you're coming for a second shift at home.
Now, we've spoken a lot about time. We've shown you where the time death is, the graves of time, right? It's the TV, it is the coming home and being the staring. It is like, that's gonna stop, right? Now, let's talk about the money, because you don't want to leave that 9 to 5 job and think you're going to come home and build this property portfolio. Build it while you are in the 9 to 5 job. Let's show you where the money is then. So the practicality is that the salary is your seed. The salary is your seed. The overtime, only do overtime because it's bringing in, it's pouring into the wealth bucket that we are both building at. And it is possible, and it is something that is incredible. It works very, very well for those that have got an overtime pay. That once a year bonus, don't sleep on it. It is your bulk seed that pays the transfer costs, or that makes you invest in a property in another way. So don't sleep on it, right? But we always talk about it. There is a short video that Slee did on the pay slip. Don't sleep on the pay slip. The 9 to 5 job creates a nice cushion by having that pay slip. The banks are looking for it, and it builds your credit score in a particular way. So that's just an area of money of using the 9 to 5 plus overtime where your money is. There are other HR benefits in there, pension-backed home loans that you can borrow from HR on your pension. They can borrow you 100,000. Let's say you need to pay some transfer costs or whatever, and you can go and borrow against your pension. You will never leave that workplace. They will draw it before you leave back into your pension, because you are not supposed to be dipping into your pension while you are young. So there is money in staying in the 9 to 5 job, and the 9 to 5 job money must be your seed, and you need to see it that way so that you also respect it.
Absolutely. And so the important thing therefore is, now that we've identified that, you even if you don't have the time, you need to find a way of making the time available. And then we've mentioned the importance of having the pay slip, which is essentially the seed that you need. So once you've got the time and your money is sorted and you've got the ability to access funding, the third thing then is the knowledge, right? That's where the knowledge gap now sits, right? So now you have decided that you want to start investing in property, or you want to build a property portfolio. This is where now you need to use the time that you've put aside to actually invest in your knowledge. Get as much knowledge as possible, because property involves a lot of money, typically in the millions. And so it is important that you have the right knowledge and you do it right. And this is something that we take very seriously, and that is why we have the mentorship that walks the journey with you and holds your hand to make sure that you are able to actually build that portfolio that you want to build. So if now you've got the knowledge, you've got the money, you've got the time, now literally the sky is the limit in terms of what you want to achieve. But I wanted to actually, or we wanted to actually, practically, you know, because, you
Yeah.
know, we're talking theoretical things. You've made the time available, you've got the money, you've got the knowledge, all good. But now let's talk about how practically, as busy moms, myself and Miranda, you know, having, you know, social lives, we've got friends and other things as well that we need to maintain and nurture. We've got families, we've got jobs, we've got other things. How practical is it to actually invest in property, bearing all of those competing demands on your time and money, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about viewing properties. How did you make time for viewing properties amongst, while you had such a hectic job?
Well, I think that's my easiest portion. That's my easiest portion. I love properties. So I love properties such that I always find time. But let me tell you how it started. Because I worked at a hospital and an office that was close to the areas that have got properties that are investable. You know, I work around Westin, Auckland Park, Braamfontein, Brixton, and because on my way back from work, I am able to view, and agents always accommodate between 4 to 6 p.m. That is my viewing time. So I would create a day where it is possible for me to leave before 5 o'clock so that I can go and view a property, right? So that's my one big thing. Saturday mornings, absolutely great time. After my gym session, or if I have done a park run, that's my other time. 9 to 10 o'clock, between 9 and 11 o'clock, viewing time. So with a 9 to 5 job, there is time to view properties, honestly, or I use that same time to analyze a deal, or to call my mentor or something like that to analyze the deal with me. And my lunch hour, guys, I don't know what lunch hour is. We don't do lunch hour, especially at a certain level in an organization. But when I have something to do in my business, I block the time, and it actually has a different color on my calendar to say analyze deal or call somebody, and then it's got a different color on MS Teams. So how did you do it? Because you started your portfolio while you worked as well.
Similar to what you are saying, it's
Yeah.
just about making the time. So using my lunch hour specifically. So at the time, commuting, I used a lot to gain knowledge, to listen to podcasts and all of that. So my commute, going to work and back, was used for that. And then audiobooks. So I love cleaning. I know you said no cleaning, but I do. But when I do clean, I've got headphones on and I'm listening to an audiobook. So therefore, I'm killing two birds with one stone. So
Right.
getting the knowledge while I'm busy doing something in the house. So that helped me a lot. And then also just being clear on what I was looking for, because you can waste a lot of time. There are people who are just serial lurkers. I don't know if lurker is the right word, but like you always just viewing and you're not clear on what you want. So I think I got clear very soon in terms of what I was looking for, and I was able to then go and set up alerts on the portals. That if I'm looking for a property within this price range and this is the specifications that I wanted, so I was then able to actually receive those alerts. So I know that, okay, there's this property. Now I look at it. Does it look like something I wanna explore or not? Yes or no? Then I'm able to quickly go and make those arrangements, which, like yourself, either was after hours or on the weekends, because agents understand that, you know, we've got full-time jobs. So yeah, those are the hours are becoming necessary after hours.
Absolutely. And my Saturdays, I remember all my mentorships, I bumped into them because they would happen on Saturday mornings or a whole weekend. There's a whole weekend that I spent on a property mentorship. So the 9 to 5 job, I guess, I want to say, let it not be your hurdle. It is your actual launch pad. It is where your money is. It creates the time if you want to have time. It creates the seed for your first property investment, and it creates a place where you can actually fetch more money than you ever realize, because I think the 9 to 5 job gets a lot of that rap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think let's talk about what people fear or worry about the most, right? Which is the managing the property. So now you've got the
okay.
property,
Yeah.
right? So how then do you manage your property while you are full-time employed? So, okay, firstly, let's talk about what is property management, because maybe some of you are hearing this concept for the first time. So once you've got the property, which is an investment property or a rental property, you need to collect rent from the tenants. If they don't collect, you need to chase them for the payments, etc., etc. Oh, firstly, you need to place a tenant. So find a tenant, make sure that they are suitable for your property, put them in the property, and once they are there, you need to make sure that you are, making sure you're collecting the rental. After all, you are in the business of providing a rental for income. So collecting the money, you need to make sure that if anything breaks or needs attention, it's attended to. So, a toilet is blocked, the roof is leaking, whatever it is, you then need to be able to do that. So you can decide whether you do that yourself or you actually appoint somebody else to do it for you. So there are agents or estate agents that actually provide property management services. So that's the one option. You can definitely say, you know what, I've done my hard work, I've found the property, I'm then going to find a property manager who is going to take care of it. And the important thing is to make sure that you budget for the fees of a property manager. The second thing could be managing it yourself, right? So you could manage it yourself. So depending on the type of property, it could be light touch or it could be require a lot more. So for an example, if you're putting in a family, they typically don't have much. You're invoicing them once a month, and normally they tend to take care of the property. But if something that does need the landlord, then you just need to have a list of service providers that you use, an electrician, a plumber, whoever that you call if there's an issue, which doesn't happen all the time, to be quite honest. So depending on the strategy, if you're doing, for example, Airbnb, it requires a lot more from you than renting out to families. If you're doing student accommodation, it requires a lot more from you than so you need to decide what's the right strategy for you and how to actually make sure that your property is taken care of. The other option is to hire staff that will work for you full time, right? So this is a function of the size of the property and the size of your portfolio. Because if your portfolio is big enough, you could hire an administrator to do the invoicing and the collection of the invoices, etc., etc. If you've got a caretaker, they can be dealing with all the maintenance things that arise on the property, and you only need a plumber or electrician if it's like a really big job or if they can't do it. And they also help with providing oversight and looking after your property. I know, Miranda, you've got your caretaker who does that for you. In my instance, because I've got Airbnb, the cleaner, she's my eyes and ears on the property. If anything is broken or damaged, she reports it, we take care of it. So you need to find a way, and I don't need to be there all the time unless it's really something big, but I'm typically hardly ever there. She takes care of everything. So that's how you then manage to actually make sure that you still manage your property by putting in the right people that are going to be able to look after your property accordingly without you necessarily being there. So those are your options. And I think as we close this video, as somebody who's full-time employed, whether you're self-employed or you've got a job, your time is limited. You need to choose your battles in terms of where do you spend your time and how do you spend your time. So where you should be spending your time are really the strategic things, finding the right property, because if you get that wrong, you are doomed. So spend more of your time on finding the right property that will be profitable enough to pay for the stuff that you need, So if that is the case, then that stuff like chasing after tenants and you don't need to go and unblock your own toilets, please don't. So do the things that are really, really important. Finding the property, putting the right people in place to look after your property. That's where you should be spending your effort and time. And how can you access more funds to grow your portfolio? That is where you should be spending your time. So now that we've had these insightful conversations and we want to be able to bring this to more people, right? So the best way to find out more about, the programs that we run, our workshops, we've got live events that we do, and we also have a mentorship program. Please subscribe to our mailing list. The list will be, the link will be in the description below. And if you want to get more videos like these, we'll be sharing more over the next couple of weeks. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel and switch on the notification button.